want to absorb some local color through the magic of AM radio.
Harkens me back to my youthful, careful days on the playgrounds of Forest Park School and my gifted days.
And what,
you're gifted, all right.
What were you gifted at?
Well, I guess I had some issues.
Detention?
There. Yeah. When my dad told me I wouldn't plan on going to Harvard anytime real soon.
You're going to have to get in touch with me. We're gonna link all the volunteers via satellite cell phone so that we can put out the message immediately, because you remember the problem we had in January. We had to have Governor Walker come in with the National Guard. It was horrible.
Steve, listen to me. Bring your own microphone because you lost this one.
Okay, Captain Ron, you've been doing this so well for the last few weeks. So go ahead and make my day.
Oh, great one with the magic pen.
Oh, boy, he wants that microphone forever, doesn't he? Now, you got to visualize this. We put a statue of Pete on this. Put him on wearing like a hard hat and flannel shirt, tool belt, snow shovel.
You mean like from the Village People?
Yeah, yeah, a couple of...
Now, wait a minute here.
Good morning, Kenosha. This is Uncle Scotty Barter, and welcome to the all-new Kenosha Today Weekly Report, coming to you live from Studio A here at WLIP AM 1050 on your radio dial, streaming live across the cornfields of the Midwest on this beautiful Memorial Day weekend, reaching out to over 50,000 homes here in the Tri-County area. Being brought to you this morning by the Boathouse Pub and Eatery, Casey Family Options, and a host of other very fine local businesses. Little Stevie Casey is away this morning attending to a family obligation, and joining us this morning to help us honor all our veterans, both past, present. It's my honor to have him in our Kenosha Today Trolley Barn this morning. We welcome Mr. Carl Bogart. Bogart.
Well, thank you for having me.
I got it right. I got Carl right, didn't I?
Yeah.
That's why we play disclaimers. We don't want to play favorites. So, anyway, what we're going to do, well, before I get to that, also joining us this morning, our video coordinator, Channel 14's Stormtrooper of the Year, Captain Ron.
Yeah, that's me.
Joins us here.
I am Captain Ron.
Captain Ron. Sounds like something right out of a cereal box, you know what I mean? And engineering the Kenosha State train wreck this morning, 6-time WLIP Employee of the Month, and the #1 draft pick for the Urban Land Institute, Pistol Pete Surgeon, is here in full control.
Good morning.
Oh, but that doesn't sound real.
I'm in full control.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so for those of you who haven't heard, we're here each and every Saturday morning from 10 to noon, bringing you 2 hours of normally some rock'em stock'em stuff. But today we're going to do something a little different. We want to hear from as many of our listeners as possible to honor America and pay tribute on this Memorial Day weekend to all those who have helped make the United States of America the best country, bar none, on the planet. And call us with a name of someone that you want to have recognized. It can be either a veteran, either retired, currently serving, or for those who paid the ultimate sacrifice service to our country. Give us a call, 262-694-1050. Carl, a little bit about your background. You're currently the first vice commander of the American Legion?
Of American Legion Post 21 here
Post
in Kenosha.
Down on 55th? No.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? And, of course, your boss is, or the
Tom Vizentainer, who's at the History Center today.
He's at the History Center, and they have this big
opening exhibit for local veterans.
And you're also the founder and operator of a business called Historic Military Impressions?
That is correct.
And what's that a little bit about?
Our mission is to honor the past by educating the future by providing museum-quality exhibits for activities such as the Vietnam Wall when it was in Pleasant Prairie, or this summer in Racine, or next month for the Navy Corpsman's birthday ball, we'll be doing a World War II exhibit of artifacts for them.
Where do you get all that from? Over the years you collected?
I've been collecting since I was 5 when my grandfather gave me a German helmet. From there, I now have over 38,000 items. I have a wonderful wife that's very tolerant, who also knows how to get access to the inventory and knows what's the better half.
I thought she's the better half, right? No.
Yeah, she's definitely the better half.
Now, where's this all displayed? Do you have a place?
Currently, we are a home-based business.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully, by the end of this year, we will be out of the basement and in a physical location here in Kenosha.
38,000 pieces in a basement?
Yes.
You might be. I'd say you're a little pressed for space there, huh?
13 years in the Marine Corps, you learn how to pack very tightly.
Yes. Well, speaking of that, you signed up you volunteered, or what do you call it, enlisted in the United States Marines from 87 to 96, and then we're in the Army Reserves. went to officer candidate school, and is that where you also got your bachelor's degree in history from Carthage College, right?
Yep. 97, I had the privilege to go to teach at West Point. Before that, I thought I'd be a police officer, and I realized I had the wrong degree, came home, went to Carthage, got a degree in history, and then today have a master's degree in military history.
What did you teach at West Point?
I taught tactics, troop leading procedures, and map reading.
How did you gain all that knowledge?
Just from learning, just from, I'm a person who couldn't read until I was 14 years old, so knowledge is power, and I, over the years I've decided to accumulate like 5 college degrees, and
we're going to honor all of our veterans, people either currently serving or for those that have passed. Give us a call, 262-694-1050, and give us a name and tell us a little bit about the people. And going to West Point was, I don't know how come I never made it to West Point. My military career was, how do you say, not necessarily, I was a poster boy of recruiting material.
Didn't they make you move your bed all the way to the west point of the room there?
I got drafted, and then we'll take this call. I got drafted in 1970. I lost my deferment, college deferment. So I'm in basic training at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and the company commander calls me in and says that they have this secret mission for me. And he goes on to explain that President Nixon is authorized to swap to the North Vietnamese me in exchange for 15 of our prisoners of war. And he says, you could end up being a big hero. Well, the next day he calls me back into his office and to tell me that the deal's off. Apparently Ho Chi Minh took a look at my resume and says to Nixon, you drafted his ass, you can keep him. So that was, I wasn't going to West Point anytime soon. Let's take this call. Good morning, you're on Kenosha Today.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Shirley.
Hi.
Happy Memorial Day weekend to you.
Yeah, you too. I'm just calling. I want to honor all the vets, present and past, just all of them. I just want to say thank you to all of them.
Well, that's wonderful. Were you ever in the military?
Me? No.
Yeah. I mean, candy striper counts, don't it?
Yeah, no. No, I wasn't.
Did you hear about my military career? I was right out of basic training. Pete, we got that?
Yes,
this is probably why, like Carl taught here, he taught at West Point, and this is probably why I didn't quite make it.
Well,
to West
we
Point.
asked Scott Sargent what his memories of Scott's service was. Surely,
Yeah.
Here it
any
is.
guesses at this?
I know nothing.
This was my sergeant.
Yeah.
I had to keep explaining to him I was on our side. It said USA. So.
I said barter, B-A-R-T.
I know nothing. Nothing.
Scott, first name of Scott. Okay, yeah, no.
Just be on the right side.
Nothing.
Yeah, no, I just want to thank everybody because without them, we couldn't do what we do.
Well, that's true. We enjoy all the freedoms every day of the year.
Absolutely.
For all of those people that have made that have served way back, since we had the military, and
Right.
of course we have a number of services and events planned for the weekend. We're going to get to those. Everybody's doing a cookout, but I'm hoping that some people will get out and attend some of these services to personally get out.
Even if they just go to the cemetery and remember somebody or say a prayer or do something.
Well, I came past Sunset Ridge, and they've got little flags on all of the
Yeah, I know
all
they
the
do.
graves, and I see the pictures of Arlington. Have you ever been to Arlington?
I have not been to Arlington.
I have. Have you ever been to Arlington?
Not me, no.
I tell you what, it's two things. There's 250,000 people, and it is just a place of honor.
Oh,
And then
yes.
to go see the Kennedy grave, and right around the corner is Bobby Kennedy's. And then the Tomb of the Unknown is one of the most eerie, solemn feelings that you can get. And Carl and I were talking about going to the wall, and he brought the moving wall, was it? Here?
Well, I do a museum exhibit with the wall of artifacts so the kids can put those names in the contents. Uniforms, equipment that were used during the Vietnam War.
But to actually go see the actual wall with 58,000 names.
Oh, I bet
It's just, and then of course, then they finally did put a Korean, for the Korean War, some monuments, and I believe they're going to start, or if they've completed one for these recent Iraq wars.
Yes.
Okay. So.
Well, that's whatever. It's terrific. We've got to honor them
So
every day.
You're gonna have a barbecue this weekend?
I think so. Yeah, a couple of my friends are coming over.
Well, let me just check. Pete, we can make that.
Yeah, absolutely.
just-
By the way, I'll be hosting another Dine and Dash event at Shirley's house. Roosevelt Road, Kenosha. Check it out.
Just put the
right.
tip jar where we can't find it.
And Pete, I was up till 1:30 listening to that ball game.
Oh, the Cubs last night, Shirley. Well, I was not.
did it
Saturday morning comes early. So
How did it work out?
They lost 3-2.
lost.
13 innings, Shirley, something like that.
Yep, 13.
Yeah.
They blew it. They were one strike away from winning.
Well, you know, I guess it's like the triple overtime the other night. After a while, it's just end, please.
Yeah,
Somehow.
I thought
So the next time they go into extra innings, are you telling us you're not going to stay up and watch?
I couldn't. I just had to know what was going to happen, and I thought, oh my gosh.
You could have got a full night's sleep and just read about it in this morning's paper.
Well,
What am I missing?
no, it was too exciting. I just kept saying it's going to be over soon. 13 innings, it finally got over. But
Well, we got to move on to Memorial Day, and we
I
got one
know.
more clip from. This was, I think, the end of my basic training. You got that,
Yeah.
Gentlemen, it's party time, Italian style.
Pete? They had their army, and I had mine.
yeah, well,
All right,
I just
so-
want to thank everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't thank everybody enough
Okay.
for serving and what they're doing now too.
Very good. Okay, thanks, Shirley. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye bye.
Good morning on Kenosha today.
Morning.
Good morning.
This is Shirley's doorman.
Shirley, who do you want to recognize this morning, George? We're honoring all our veterans, currently, past, present, future.
A man named Richard Cockey.
Okay, what service was he in?
He was in the Army Air Corps.
Okay, and what era or what years?
I think it was during World War II.
Okay. And what did he do that was above and beyond? Or doesn't he even have to
I really
just
don't
serve?
know.
Okay.
But it's all I know. I met him back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
And he'd be telling me all the stories about the war and all that, all his military service.
Were you in the service, George?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I got rejected.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, well, I believe it because of physical disabilities.
Okay.
Back in the day.
All right. Well, have a good weekend, and thanks for the call.
Yeah, take care.
Okay, thanks. We are taking your calls 262-694-1050. Give us a name of someone that's dear to your heart, someone who's been in the military, someone's currently serving, someone who might have paid the ultimate sacrifice, and we're going to pay him tribute and give him an honor. We're talking to Carl Borger, and we have a number of events coming up here. Sunday is out the Veterans Memorial Cemetery out in Union Grove. Keynote speaker is going to be Scott Walker. And I had to start with that one, didn't I? So, anyway, commemorative.
Serious
of course,
show today, so I won't
They fly
jump on
over,
board on that.
weather permitting. And then on Monday, there's one in Antioch. And then
There's one today. What did Scott Gordon call in last night?
no, but
I thought it was
10 o'clock this morning?
no, but Carl's down. Woody's down by the Historical Society, right?
Yeah, as we speak, he's
Yes.
doing the remembrance table, opening up the veterans tribute that's at the Historical Society. That it's going to be open for a couple weeks.
That's a new wing or a new exhibit that
A
they
new
just
exhibit.
opened up. And one of the things, if you saw the picture in the paper, was the flag from Van Bendicum, right?
Yes.
That I went to school with him, and that's an amazing story. How you find your remains 47 years after the fact, but better,
Yep.
than never. Bring some closing, but
Today, his mom will be escorted by the VFW riders in a sidecar from Festival Foods.
oh, that's pretty neat. Yeah, and then tomorrow or Monday, I'm sorry, at 10 a.m. Your American Legion Post is sponsoring an event at Greenridge Cemetery, 6604 7th Avenue. And then All Saints Cemetery, memorial service at 10 a.m. out at Springbrook Road. The Navy Club Ship 40 ceremony is at 9 a.m. That's right down by the harbor, across from City Hall, I believe.
Yep.
And American Legion Post 544 is up in Twin Lakes going to have something parade. Oh, they're actually having a parade at 11 a.m. And Silver Lake is having their Han American Legion Post 293 is having a service at 9 a.m. out in Burlington on Monday. The Veterans Memorial Day Parade at 9 a.m. right down by Echo Park, and I think this is also the weekend they have Chocolate Fest out there. Mm-hmm. So that's tied in with that. And, of course, the Kenosha Area Vietnam Veterans ceremony at noon, Library Park. Pleasant Prairie VFW Post 7308, 11:30 a.m., Old St. Mark's Cemetery. And the Summers American Legion David Leet Post is having at 11 a.m., Sunset Ridge Memorial Park. Guest speaker Senator Wirch. And then May 30th, program marking the 40th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War, sponsored by the 31st World Congress of Poets, flag ceremonies, speeches, etc. So I'm hoping that the weather permitting, it's supposed to be nice, fairly good tomorrow. Monday might be a little iffy, but don't let that deter you. Get out to one of these and pay your tribute. And if you're listening, give us a call with a name of a veteran, either retired, currently serving, or somebody who paid the ultimate sacrifice. 262-694-1050. Carl, in your little museum, how much space do you need? Maybe we can help you locate someplace, unless you've got one.
Well, I'm going to start out small.
Okay.
And I take over a storefront here in Kenosha, and I'm going to have exhibits rotate every 2 months, and then from there grow reasonably into something. I'll let Providence determine the outcome. And
well, with all the storefronts we have in downtown Kenosha, your museum, I think, would fit in real well with Mike Bjorn's museum. A little bit different issues, but nevertheless, I think it might work. Good morning, you're on Kenosha today.
Yeah, hi, Joe the self-employed plumber.
Okay.
Calling in regards to the Memorial Day shout-out.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, my father, Captain G.R. Harwood, Jr., Marine Corps. He served in Korea and Vietnam.
Oh, wow, that's
20-year man, retired. I grew up a Marine Corps grad, but he was gone a lot, but he served our country. He's still alive.
Oh, he's got to be 90? Or maybe not.
He's actually 82. He was in Korea when he was 18.
Did he sign up? Or
yeah,
was he drafted?
He actually did. Yeah, the Marines, you sign up for them.
Boy, those guys are tough guys in the Marines.
Yeah, he was tough. Still is.
You got to commend them when you go in and you say, I want to sign up and serve my country, but I want the toughest out there. I want to go with the Marines, and I don't know if there's a group that's tougher than those guys.
We like to think we're the best.
Yeah.
So, we have large egos.
Well, they should. They do a lot of good things. So, hey, well, I thank you for the call. Anything else you want to share with us?
No, that'll do it. Maybe just looks like it's going to be a good day today, weather-wise, and God bless everybody that served us, and happy Memorial Day.
Well, give them our regards. Appreciate it.
Bet. Thank
All right,
you.
thank you. Again, we're taking your calls, 262-694-1050, for our little tribute to veterans and either retired. That's pretty amazing, serving from Korea to Vietnam and still be here to talk about it at really a pretty young age. I got to read a couple of sponsors, Carl Borger, and to recognize the Kenosha Area Pipes and Drums and the all work that they do in all the various events and funerals. But let's take a call. Good morning, you're on Kenosha today. Good morning. Pete. Hello? I guess...
Lost him.
Or her. Don't, we got to play him or her. We can't say, what I'm saying.
I said M. Lost him.
Lost him.
See, I'm equal opportunity.
Anyway, in addition to, how many members, let's go back to your American Legion post. How many members do you have?
We have 280 members.
Wow.
This year we've achieved, Tom is very proud that we're at 120% of our membership goal, so we're a growing post. Very active post.
How often do you meet?
We meet, the general membership meetings are the third Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m., And
I know you have a lot of fundraisers because he calls me or
oh
emails
yeah,
me all about
we have a
this.
fundraiser starting today.
What is that about?
We have a beer brought bus at our post starting at 1 o'clock today and tomorrow to help us raise money for sending kids to Badger Boys State, Badger Girls State, and all the other activities that we do throughout the year.
Well, that's fantastic. You know, one of the other groups, and you're all in this together, so I wouldn't say like your group and the VFW and like the Wounded Warriors. I don't think there's competition.
Yeah, we play
there.
well in the sandbox together.
Well, you're one of the very few groups in this town that do that. We have other kids. This is why we have to play disclaimers, because there's a few groups that don't get along too well.
Some of them sit on the same legislative body.
They're the Southern Wisconsin All Airborne Chapter of the 82nd Airborne Division is holding its 4th annual golf outing to benefit country's Wounded Warrior Program Friday, June 5th. It's a best ball scramble at Bristol Oaks. Registrations from 10 a.m. Shotgun at 11, buffet dinner at 5, and all the proceeds go to the Wounded Warrior Program. Contact Gary Lottisey at 262-694-9523. And Nick Polero is involved with this group. And
Nick is a great guy.
And I had him on one of our TV shows around a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And when they take money, they physically, 100%, they physically go out to wherever and give them a check.
To the penny, 100%. A lot of other organizations take fees for overhead. They take nothing.
In light of some of the recent fundraisers that went kind of on the dark side for cancer, and they were bilking people out of millions of dollars that was announced this week. This is anybody that takes, I understand that there's probably a small percent, maybe 25, for expenses, not for administrative expenses. And Nick and his group, and it's the same thing with our Charlie V's Kids for Cancer Foundation, and the same thing with the Goodfellows. Not one penny goes for expenses. And I remember Howard Brown, the late Howard Brown, when he was telling me, he says, if I can't get it donated, well, I'm going to get it donated somehow for some of those expenses. And yeah, you got to have some expenses for shirts and whatever, but I applaud your group, and I know the VFW has their fundraisers, and this one, when Nick was talking to me that couple years ago, and I was really impressed with the fact that they physically go out there on their own dime. They don't take it out of their earnings here and say, here's your check. And you know what? I'm glad that there's groups like this, because you'd think that, you know, when the people come back from Iraq or Pakistan or Afghanistan and they're permanently maimed for life, that should be the government's program, you would think. But it's not. The government doesn't take it far enough, I don't think, and that's just my view. But
you know, and not only that, but all the money goes to a veteran that's affiliated somehow, either lived here, has his family living here, from the Kenosha Racine area. So it all stays local.
Well, that was, yes, and some of the other fundraising events claim that the money stays local. Well, I know that in that case, the Goodfellows and Charlie, all of the money, it's in the bylaws. You have to have lived or resided in Kenosha County, or at least within the area. So, again, we're taking your calls, 262-694-1050. Call us with a name of someone who can be a veteran, either retired, currently serving, who paid the ultimate sacrifice to our country, and we want to pay tribute to those individuals. And while I'm waiting for that, I recognize Small Business Technology. You signed up for the Marines?
Yep.
I got to ask you.
2 hours after graduating, I was on my way to Parris Island, South Carolina.
Well, that's a heck of a graduation prize. Let's take this call. Good morning on Kenosha Today. Pete, what's going on? No?
Keep it rolling.
Forget that call?
Yeah.
All right. Well, at any rate, so how long you had signed up before you actually graduated?
Yep.
And what moved you to do this? I mean, we just wanted to get out of town? You're from Kenosha, right?
I was originally from Chicago.
Oh, I'd get out of Chicago. Now, that's nothing for our Chicago listeners. I mean, it's a wonderful town, but
to go to Parris Island, I actually went to boot camp from Oldsmar, Florida. My mom was living down there. It's like right off of Tampa Bay, Clearwater, right at the top of the bay.
What time of year did you go? Oh, right in the summertime, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and it's nice and warm and muggy, and the bugs are about the size of your fist.
But you figure South Carolina is, north of Florida, so it was actually cooler for me.
So, was it everything you thought it was going to be, as the recruiter described it, or was there some misinformation maybe?
You know, I prepared for hell on earth, and when I left Parris Island, I was disappointed.
Why?
I was in weight training. I was, preparing for the worst possible thing I could ever do to myself.
Yeah.
And when it was all said and done with, I was
It was
like,
cake? Piece of cake?
That was boot camp. I mean,
So what's next? What was it? Is it 8 weeks or was it longer? No.
it was just shy of 3 months.
Okay. They've extended. I think when I was in basic training, it was 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Then you went to 8 weeks advanced infantry training, and then you were. I don't even think they were letting people come home. Then you were just going right forward and heading for Vietnam. Now, was yours a 3-year enlistment?
I did 6 years.
That was your sign up?
Yeah, I wanted to be guaranteed an overseas duty station, like, Guam, Japan. They stuck me in Hawaii.
Oh, what was
It's like being stuck in Disneyland for like 8 years and not being able to leave.
This is the new action army. I would have sent my recruiter a bouquet of flowers or some turkey every Thanksgiving.
You got reassigned to where? Sparta, Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, that's where I got reassigned to. Boy, there was a little difference.
No wonder why your sergeant wants nothing to do with you.
I know nothing. Nothing.
No, when you signed up in '87, was there a bonus to be paid, or was that the enticement, or you could have signed up for 3 years, right?
I could have, but
6 years is a long, not knowing what you're getting into.
I thought I was going to do 20, and didn't make it.
Yeah, well, I could retire out of Hawaii. That seems to work for me. Now, what were you trained as?
I should have listened to my recruiter on this one, electronics technician.
Yeah?
But I wanted to be infantry. I wanted to learn how to get stuffed in torpedo tubes.
Well, there wasn't a lot of that going on in Hawaii.
Useless skills.
I got to ask. How does someone in the infantry end up in Hawaii versus? Were you thinking you were going to see some action?
Well, no. The 3rd Marine Regiment is stationed in Hawaii. Now it's Marine Corps Base Hawaii, and back then it was Kaneohe Bay. There's an air station and 3 Marine regiments there.
Well, we
got to, defend our pineapples.
Yeah, that's important stuff there.
Hey, listen,
national
if
security.
Japan ever comes back, we're ready to go over there.
The pineapple
absolutely.
fields are in the middle of a training area that you can't get to.
Oh, that's kind of a problem.
So the other problem is how many guys would be on the Navy is still there, right?
Navy's still there, Marine Corps still
there. So how many
there,
guys total would you think would be in Hawaii? At one, between the Navy and
military?
Yeah.
Between all the bases?
Yeah.
A couple 100,000.
And how many, let's see, now this is, if I was signing up, I would be asking how many local girls are available.
And
I can't compete against 200,000.
You know what? You get to basic training and ask them that and see how it goes for you. Yeah.
But it's all the tourists. You have all the local girls that leave.
I don't care. I'm in the military. I'm with 200,000 guys. I got
Yeah, how they gonna find you afterwards, right? Yeah.
I was just a lowly private.
He was a tall white guy that was bald.
I had a guy back in the late 60s and 70s. If you enlisted, you could go for 3 years and say you wanted to go to Germany, and you could stay out of Vietnam. And one guy ends up after basic training. He signs up for the 3, and sure enough, he's in Vietnam. He thinks he's on a plane transport to go someplace else, to Bangkok, I think. He ends up in Vietnam. He says, my recruiter didn't tell me this. He goes, well, call him, see how this is working out for you. He says, you're in Saigon now. Welcome to the world. But I think there was a lot of that going on there. And I remember, did you take your physical before you actually got on the plane?
Yes.
See, in those days, everybody would meet with their little shaving kit at the KYF, and you were going to this AFES building, they call it. It's a old rundown thing right down in the middle of downtown. And, God, there were thousands of guys going through there and for their physicals, and then you'd leave and get on the plane and go to wherever you're being assigned. And in those days, the qualifications were if you basically had a pulse, you were accepted for military service. They were, after Kennedy got shot and Nixon escalated the draft to some 300,000 people in a pretty quick time there. And so, I don't want to really get into philosophies of war. That's very unfortunate in the Vietnam era that we were never allowed to win that war. And I guess my feeling remains the same after all these years. The same with Afghanistan and Iraq. These people are unmanageable. and I guess we should be there for something. But they talk about boots on the ground going back to Iraq, I think it is.
Yes.
I don't know that this is. I'm not in favor, but I don't think it's worth one more American life to waste on something we can't win, and especially after Vietnam and yes, we talked earlier about the wall. 58,000 people on the wall. Not to talk about the 200,000 to 300,000 that came back actually were living, but might as well have been dead with Agent Orange and permanent disabilities, and then they came back to a country that didn't want them. You know, and you saw the pictures of baby killers and etc. And it was just not a good time in our country's history, but we survived it.
But you know, my generation of veterans owes your generation of veterans a great gratitude.
How's that?
You changed American society to the point where no generation of veterans will ever have to pay the price for their government's decision ever again.
Well, that's an excellent point. I concur with that 300%. We learned a lot of painful lessons in the Vietnam War. And, you know, all the movies that came out of that. I saw the one with, oh, God, what was it? Called We Were Soldiers, and they fought the first battle in 1965, and they were just a company of, I think they were Marines, and hooked up against 4,000 North Vietnamese regulars, and the Army sent them in there, and they had no idea what they were up against.
And they landed on top of an entire
division. 4,000. What was it? It was weird. Who was the big actor in that?
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson.
It was the 1st Cavalry Division.
Yeah, and you know, he played Hal Morris, and Hal Morris stayed there for 3 years, and he's still living at the age of 92, highly decorated. But his philosophy on the movie was, as the commander, I'm the first one that sets foot on the field, and I'll be the my foot will be the last one off the field, living or dead. He guaranteed that he'll bring them all home, and he did. And but to spend 3 more years, and then I hear these cases where people, you know, they do a tour of, what is it, tour 18 months maybe, in a war zone, and sign up and go back. I know guys that go back to Afghanistan and Iraq 2 and 3 times. I don't see it, but I mean, I applaud them for doing that. So,
and you know who was in that battle? The gentleman who owned Salute's restaurant in Racine.
In 65?
Yep.
No kidding.
I mean, he has posters there of the movie poster from We Were Soldiers and his medals. And
I think we lost 100 men, thereabouts.
I don't know the exact number.
But the North Vietnamese lost 1,800. So when we were outmanned, 4,000 to, what's in a company? I don't know, a couple hundred?
About 120.
Yeah, we were pretty much, and the intelligence was way off, and it was just a whole nightmare in that area. And, you know, war is not a good thing. And then, by the way, we're taking your calls, 262-694-1050. Give us the name of someone, a veteran, that you want to honor, pay tribute, mention, currently serving. And we're just talking to Carl Borger about a variety of military topics. And we were going to have, what?
Break at some point?
Oh, geez, I forgot that.
Oh. That would be this thing here, so the audience doesn't have to know.
Oh, I forgot.
Could just smoothly go into a.
Okay, well, I forgot we were talking about. I get off on this tangent, which doesn't happen often, and we'll be back in a minute after. Are you in the weather today?
I am, yeah.
Okay, well, forget Jesse right there. You're the man. All right, well, this is Uncle Scotty Barter, and welcome to the Kenosha Today Weekly Report, coming to you live from Studio A here at WLIP AM 1050 on your dial. Brought to you this morning by the Boathouse Pub and Eatery, Casey Family Options, and a host of many other very fine local businesses. Joining me this morning on this beautiful Memorial Day weekend in our tribute to all our veterans, former officer in the Wisconsin National Guard, and now the founder and owner of Historic Military Impressions, Mr. Carl Borger, joins us here at Fort Kenosha today. That's salute.
Yes, sir.
And we're looking for the names of those who are currently serving in our military, retired, for those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Might continue to, so we can live as free people in a free country. Give us a call, 262-694-1050. Also with us, our video coordinator, Stormtrooper Captain Ron is here.
Hey.
This morning at Camp Happy Face. You weren't in the Army, were you?
No, I was getting ready to go tonight.
Didn't we? We have a clip of him in basic training.
We do?
I mean, well, it was your recruiter. You trained yourself. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's a fact, Jack.
Oh, this one.
That's the fact, Jack!
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Army training. And engineering the Kenosha Today train wreck, the guy who served as a lookout for General George Custer. Didn't you do that, Pete?
I sure did.
Pistol Pete Surgeon is here. alert and in full control.
Food up, sir!
We can say that after on Monday morning when Carl and John Perry come in here and want to know where the building is. He said, blowing up, sir.
Nobody noticed till Tuesday this weekend.
For those who might have missed it, the Kenosha Today show has been extended for 1 hour and is now airing from 10 a.m. till noon every Saturday morning. So, that's to Marilyn out in Bristol, right? Is that her name?
Cindy.
Cindy, yeah. Also, this show is being recorded for training purposes, so in the event you want to take it down to Kenosha Today.
You gotta do your shout out.
I do. That's true.
What, your shout out?
I have to shout out to Kathy.
Okay.
Hi, Kathy.
Oh, that's it?
That's it.
That's it. You wanted
Happy Memorial Day.
You can also hear the replay. Boy, that would come from the heart, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can also hear the replay of radio broadcast tomorrow at Sundays at noon right here in WIP AM 1050.
Why?
And thanks to my good friend and sponsor, Steve Schneider, you can also find us 24/7 on YouTube. Imagine that, 24/7. Find this stuff here. Let me read a quick sponsor.
On Tuesday, Harborside Academy is doing their veterans program and dinner. Their sophomores do this wonderful program studying the conflicts of the 20th century, and they conclude it with doing a program for all the Kenosha area veterans. And they like to serve you dinner and have you come out to their program. It's at Harborside Academy, which is in the Ruther High School building from 5 to 8.
How many members do they have? That's an elective, right?
It is an elective.
And how many students do they have participating, do you know?
Probably about 100.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Let's take this call. Good morning. You're on Kenosha Today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to say thank you to my father, my brother, and my grandson. They were all in the Marine Corps.
Can you say their names?
Sure. My dad's name was Paul,
Okay.
and he was in the Korean conflict.
Okay.
My brother's name was John,
Okay.
and they are both deceased.
Okay.
And my grandson, Michael, who is currently in Japan.
All in the Marines.
All in the Marines.
So how did that work out? I mean, was this a family tradition, obviously?
Well, it just happened. I mean, my dad was in the Marines, and then when my brother went into the service, he went in the Marines, and then our grandson, he went in, I guess, he went to the different recruiters and stuff, and he decided that the Marines was the place for him to go.
Where is he now?
He's in Japan.
Okay. And how long has he been in?
He's been in like 2 years.
Okay. What is he doing in the Marines? Is he not infantry or?
He is a gunnery. I'm not exactly sure, but a spotter. That's what he does. He's a gunnery spotter.
Like a forward observer.
That's what I was, a forward
Yes.
observer.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Those are
so-
very important. I mean, but hopefully he can end up and stay in Japan and not have to go anywhere else. That's just my view.
yeah, because the plans are he's on a ship. I don't know how long they're going to be in Japan, but then they're going to Australia
Oh, wow.
after Japan.
All you guys in the Marines. Carl's sitting here. He ends up 8 years in Hawaii.
I went all over the Pacific.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Home base Hawaii.
Well, good. I'm glad he's there, and I'm glad he's safe. But, however, he's been trained correctly, and if the need arises, he's going, right?
Oh, well, yeah, yeah. If they say this is where you go.
Okay, well, give him all our regards and your grandson, and thank you for calling. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
thank you.
All right. Well, we were talking about Harborside Academy, and they've started that program 20 years ago, I think, right?
I don't know about. I know I've been part of it, bringing in artifacts for the veterans to share with the kids for 6 years now.
Now, they take that as an elective, and I think you can start right as a freshman and stay in.
Well, you can Harborside. You can get in as a sixth grader.
Oh, really?
Or as a freshman. There's actually a middle school as well. I tried to get my son in. He didn't make the lottery.
So they have a waiting list?
Yes.
Oh.
He's number 89 on the waiting list.
89 on a waiting list. See, Pete, when you were in high school, you have your high school reunion.
Tonight, yeah.
Yeah, you could have gone back 10 years and told the boys you were military material.
I don't think anybody would believe that.
Well, you look so strapped. Remember? Strategic. Polish the boots up, and I I got to read another sponsor before we're going to have a special poem coming up here. Terry, and if you have a name of someone you want to recognize, give us a call. And can be either a veteran, currently retired, currently serving. Like this gal's got her grandson, and all of them in the Marines. Did you find that when you were, what made you join the Marines? Was your family in the Marines? Or?
My grandfather was in the Army in World War II, and then I was in the Marines. And for me, it was about wanting to push myself to a higher level. I was brainwashed early.
You know, you talked about, well, I don't know, brainwashed. You accepted it. I mean, you didn't have to certainly take it. I mean, you weren't drafted in the Marines. You chose to be there.
I chose to be a Marine.
And back in the 60s and the 70s when guys got drafted, I mean, it took them, you know, the first mile run around the park at 4 in the morning. The guys were gasping. They were in terrible shape. Mm-hmm. Did you find that when you got to basic training, guys had prepared and were pretty much ready for this?
We had a semi-professional boot camp, football player tell me that he never thought it'd be as hard as it was.
Yeah.
Which surprised me. You know, but then again, for me, it was like, you know, the Marines have the coolest uniform. I didn't know at the time I had to buy it after graduating boot camp, but...
Well, it's today's Army. I mean, we're a little short on cash. All right. Good morning on Kenosha Today.
Hold on, let's do this one.
Okay. Good morning on Kenosha Today.
Good morning. I have a soldier I'd like to pay tribute to.
Sure. Who'd that be?
That is Captain Autumn Horton.
Okay.
She's in the Army.
Okay.
Been in for about 10 years.
Oh, jeez. Where is she located?
Right now, she's finally, after 4 years back in the United States, that she's at Fort Riley, Kansas.
Did she go in right out of high school?
Actually, she was still in high school when she signed up.
No kidding. Can they do that? Well, if you're 18, I suppose, right?
Mm-hmm.
She signed up with the National Guard.
Oh, okay.
And they allowed it.
You know, those were pretty lucrative packages if you signed up. And then you had the commitment, naturally. But didn't they give you bonuses for college?
You are absolutely 100% right. The package that they offered those students at that time was amazing. And yes, you had to serve back with your time.
Yeah.
And even she got her college education all paid for.
Yeah,
and her master's.
Oh, jeez. Mm-hmm. Well, good for her.
But she's still in.
Well, good for her, too, as long as she doesn't have to go anywhere tough. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't want to send her off to Iraq or Pakistan or any of those places. So have her come back and be able to get her education.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning on Kenosha Today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. I want to salute my husband,
Okay.
Dante.
Dante?
That was, 25 years. And the Ritaka boys.
Okay. How many boys are there?
There was three. One was all in the Army, and one was a cook, one was a mechanic, and the other one was the music man.
And what era music man meaning
He played with the Army band.
Oh, okay.
The Glenn Miller band. He marching all over.
What years would this have been?
They were in Second World War.
You know, wasn't there after
the Sullivans?
Well, the Sullivans, and then Saving Private Ryan too.
Mm-hmm.
Did they always allow brothers to go? Because remember in Saving Private Ryan, and the brothers
all three of them went.
Mm-hmm.
All three went.
They signed up.
Brothers.
They signed up. Right?
No, they were
drafted.
No, they were drafted.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And I want to also commend my nephew. That was he's in the Green Beret and the Seas, and he did a lot of missions in Afghanistan and whatever.
Okay.
He's back home for a short term, but then he's got to go out again.
Where's he going?
You never know where he's going to be. He can't tell.
Oh, well.
He can't. No, not even his. I don't think his wife knows either. He's in the Green Berets when they call you to go.
Oh, that's right. You just get on the plane, and sometimes I don't think they even know where they're going.
No,
until they land.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the Green Berets. Go ahead.
No, he's quite. He's the one that jumps out of the helicopter. Forever.
Well, no. The reason I'm laughing is because when I went to. On my personal case, I went to Fort Campbell, which was the home of the 101st Airborne. Mm-hmm. And I remember the sergeant saying there's only two things that come out of the air, Bird and Fools. He says, which one do you want to be?
There you go.
Yeah, see,
there
so
you go.
that's why I was laughing.
I commend you for doing this program. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you very much. We have a little poem coming up shortly in a couple minutes, so you want to stay tuned for that.
Okay, thank you very much for taking my call.
All right.
Bye now.
About 2 minutes, Scott.
2 minutes, okay. I've got through all of that. Before we go to this poem, I'm the Flag of the United States of America, that I found. We did this, it was in November for Veterans Day after 9/11, and we rented out the Tremper Auditorium, and I had the Navy band come up. And I forget the song, I think it was America the Beautiful, that they were playing on the stage. And the director gives me this poem, and I hadn't read it before, so it was the first time. And I applaud the Navy band for coming up to do that. Mm-hmm. And we had a whole bunch of other patriotic things going on that day. But this was kind of tweaked a little bit to go to the background and kind of more tweaked to my style. And so, but when we get back at 4 after the hour, Pete?
About 5 after.
We'll have we're talking to Carl Borger, and we're going to take some more of your phone calls and to help honor and tribute on this Memorial Day weekend to all of those veterans, either currently serving, have served, or passed on. And they're interesting stories, like the 3 brothers that all were drafted, but they all went to different areas. Mm-hmm. And then we take the Saving Private Ryan and how they brought one home. And you know what? If I remember correctly, he didn't want to come home. He says, I don't want to leave my men, right? Mm-hmm. He says, I'm staying here. And I thought, didn't Tom Hanks, I think he won some Academy Awards for that. Mm-hmm. And then there was the Sullivan boys who were
on the same ship.
On the same ship. Well, they are never going to allow that.
No.
Again. And a lot of things in the military people can criticize. But it's so massive. I mean, you're trying to, take 1 million guys and make them operate and think as one.
Mm-hmm. All right, you ready here, Scott?
All right, here we go.
All right, just give me a second here, and we'll get this fired up.
I am the flag of the United States of America. I was born on July 4th, 1776, and the Declaration of Independence is my birth certificate. The bloodlines of the world run through my veins, for I offer freedom to the oppressed. I stand for many things to many people. I am the nation. I have fought in every battle of every war for more than 200 years. Gettysburg, Anzio, Normandy, Guam, Iwo Jima, Korea, Saigon, Grenada, Beirut, Panama, in the Persian Gulf, and a score of places long forgotten by all those who were there with me. I was there. I led my soldiers, Marines, sailors, and airmen. I followed them. I watched over them, for they loved me. When freedom called, I answered and stayed until it was over. I left my heroic dead in Flanders fields, in the oceans of the Pacific and Atlantic, in the steaming jungles of Vietnam, in the waters of the Persian Gulf, the sands of Desert Storm, and Iraqi freedom. I was conceived in freedom, and God willing, in freedom I will spend the rest of my days. May I possess always the integrity, the courage, and the strength to keep myself unshackled, to remain the citadel of freedom and the beacon of strength to the rest of the world. This is my goal, my hope, and my prayer. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on in the streets of countries I have helped set free. And sadly, even by my own country, and by those whom I have given the freedom to express their rights, it hurts. But I shall overcome, because I am strong. I have slipped the bonds of earth, and from my vantage point on the moon, I stand watch over the uncharted new frontiers of space. I have been a silent witness to all of America's finest hours. But my finest hour comes when I'm torn into strips to be used as bandages for my wounded comrades on the field of battle. When I fly half-staff to honor my soldiers and lie in the trembling arms of a grieving mother at the gravesite of her fallen son or daughter. I am proud I am free. And I am brave. My name is Old Glory. Long may I wave. Dear God, long may I wave. We'll be right back. Scotty Barter, and welcome to the all-new Kenosha Today Weekly Report, coming to you live from Studio A here at WLIP AM 1050 on your radio dial. Being brought to you this morning by the Boathouse Pub and Eatery, Casey Family Options, and a host of many other very fine local businesses. In our Kenosha Today Trolley Barn this morning, Mr. Carl Borger joins us as we honor and pay tribute to all those current, former, and those fallen on Memorial Day Saturday. Along with the always lovable Stormtrooper, Captain Ron.
Stormtrooper. My lord. Stormtrooper. My lord. Stormtrooper. My lord. Stormtrooper. My lord. Stormtrooper. Stormtrooper. My lord. Yes.
We can only be serious so long. We lasted 60 minutes, Carl. So, and the ever alert and fully command General Pistol Pete Sergeant. You should have signed up, Pete. I think. You know what? I'm not for the draft.
You thought those guys you were in with were winded after a mile.
You want me to run all that way around there? You know what, though? The discipline, we talk about basic training. Mm-hmm. And for those that you went in, you were fully prepared. But for those that have played high school football or were in sports, we're pretty much disciplined, for getting out and running a 3-mile run or in the morning with a 40-pound pack on your back. So
I remember I had a gentleman who was extremely well built, worked out in weights all the time. He's like, yeah, we're going to go for a walk. And I'm like, you've never been on a hump before, have you? He's like, how bad could 5 miles of just walking with your equipment be? And at the end of it, he's like, that was the most god-awful thing I've ever
Yeah, but you're going up and down the hills. This is not like walking out the golf course,
and it's keeping that pace, and keeping the cover and alignment, and you really push your body to extremes, and you discover when you get out that you could push yourself beyond what most people think they can.
Well, they were guys that in those days that just weren't fit for basic training. They had never done any form of physical activity. But part of it was trying to mentally get you. You would have never made it out of private.
I barely made it out of gym class. What's your point?
He goes in there with shower tongs and a shower cap, And but I mean, they had to mentally take, like I said, a company 126 guys and make them think as one. Mm-hmm. And in those days, we were not the smartest army.
Well, in your generation, you can be the army or jail.
Well, a lot of guys took Canada.
Yeah.
And came back, and that whole thing. I don't even want to get into that. Claiming it was an immoral war and unjust, and didn't like killing. And I had never shot a gun, or weapon, I should say. And I think I was the last guy to qualify at a 25-meter range with an M16. And the sergeant gets down in the thing, and he says, "You know why you're not hitting the target at 25? I keep blinking my eyes." I was deathly afraid of shooting, and so was everybody else. I didn't think I could kill anybody. And you're trained to kill without mercy as you're trying to stab into this. I don't know what do you call those things that you practice, bayoneting. And that's for guys coming out of a cushy someplace. And
well, I mean,
that was not the place to be.
For 18 years of your life, you're taught to preserve property, respect human life, do all these things. And then in a very short amount of time, they teach you all of what you learned for 18 years is obsolete. You got to do the opposite.
You think in the military way.
And then at the end, they say, okay, go home.
That's a perfect example. And good luck trying to find a job. And here you served and went through all of this combat missions. And unfortunately, you might have had to take a life here. And now you're going to go home and try to find a job in the real world. And a lot of guys can't adapt to that. They have this post-syndrome?
PTSD.
Yeah.
Well, when I explain it to kids, I say that we are all round dowel rods. And some of us go in the military, so they square us away. So now they make us square pegs. Yeah, and then we get out of the military, and we're still square pegs. But now we have to survive in a world that's designed for round dowel rods. And the best that we could do is with our 4 points, hold us in place. We never exactly fit again.
Show you how naive I was when I was 20. I come home and I was still playing baseball, thinking I'm going to the big leagues. And I come home, my dad says, "Hey, you know you've been drafted?" Oh, me, I'm thinking, what team wants me? The Pittsburgh Pirates? He goes, "No, a better team than that. The United States Army wants you." So, but you know, my dad, before I got on the plane to leave, and he says, "Don't volunteer for anything." You've heard that?
Yep.
Well, I should have listened to him, because not only 3 weeks into this, they said, "Hey, we need somebody that can type." Anybody? Oh, I was a good typist, so I volunteered. He says, "Good, you go clean the offices tonight on your own time." So, I mean, but you had a story you wanted to talk about.
Well, when you were reading the poem, it brought back a memory about at the beginning of Desert Storm, my unit was gearing up, and we were in our rec room watching TV, and there was young Hawaiians burning American flags, protesting the fact that we were going to go to war for oil, as they believed. And it's a Friday afternoon, we're about half hour from Liberty for the securing for the weekend, having the weekend off, and going down to Waikiki and beating the ever-loving crap out of them. Tradition has it, when an officer walks in the room, you call the room to attention.
Yeah.
Our commanding officer was in the back of the room listening to our agitation, and he decided to make his presence known with words that have always changed my life.
No, be careful. We get this. This is the military we're talking about. We don't have to hit the dumb button now, do we?
I'm sure I can trust him. Don't worry.
Okay.
And I'm here.
He said, "Gentlemen, always remember, democracy is tolerance to everything that you despise."
Yeah, that's...
And from that moment, I realized that I was a Marine, so people could do things that I despise. Whether I agree with it or not is irrelevant. And if you think about it...
Yeah. It always amazed me why we burn the flag so we can go drill for oil. That was the case, right?
Yeah.
Or burn the flag in other countries, or even in our own country. For what? I mean, I just... Back in the 60s, they were burning the flag. Well, there was a big protest. Nobody wanted to go to war. And we probably shouldn't have. But at any rate, the same pattern I see between... we are now just about out of Iraq, are we not? In Afghanistan?
Sadly, I believe that we will be returning.
You think we should come home?
No.
Or no, you think we should stay there? Seriously, Doug, whatever you think.
I think the Muslim threat is probably the greatest threat that our world has ever faced. And we have a choice. We could either deal with it there, or we could deal with it here. But eventually we are going to have to deal with it.
That's an excellent point. And we've already dealt with it here in 9/11.
Yes.
And some other things. And I guess... how do we get rid of this? And, or don't we?
As a historian, I could tell you... World War I, we didn't learn the lessons. We left the world in shambles. 20 years later, we were fighting it again in World War II. World War II, we learned the lesson. We're still in Japan and Germany today.
Yeah.
We made them our greatest allies. We rebuilt them. But we seem to have forgotten that lesson. It's like we think we could destroy a nation and just walk out and let them deal with it, and then not expect tyrants to take power.
You know, back in after you watched the movie Patton, and he wanted to go after the Russians.
Yep.
And he was probably the smartest guy. He says, "Look, I'm going to have to fight them anyway." Well, we didn't fight them, but we had all this nuclear business. He says, "I got the men and the machinery right here. Why don't I just keep going and finish the job?" But he was an army guy, and he was not a politician.
No. Eisenhower was a better general for what he had to do. I don't think we would have kept the coalition together, if you will, if Patton was in command.
Oh, my God. Everybody would fight. See, Pete, if you would have been in the Army under Patton, you would have had bruises being slapped silly.
You would have glove marks on your forehead.
Oh, man, good.
I'd probably learn how to hold my tongue. That would finally break me.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'll stick to politics, thank you.
War correspondent, Pete Surgeon, sitting in a foxhole. We're military, what do you call them? Bags and pipes. What's the name I'm thinking? The firemen, the bags and pipers. Yeah. What are they? Pete, help me out here. What is?
I would have had it for you already if I would have known.
I know. Yeah,
you know, they go through Bags and Pipes, I guess, association that plays in the parades, and they have been going at it for about 10 years and play at funerals, and they are really good. They go out on St. Patrick's Day. The Kenosha area Bags and Pipes, that's what it is. So I wasn't that far off.
Okay.
But they do a fantastic job, and I remember when they started, they came on, and you know those nice outfits are about 1,800 to 2,000, and they took some guys that had some musical backgrounds trying to play a bagpipe. You know, when you used to play the clarinet in a band, that's a real chore, and they do great work. and raise some money. And when they see them out on St. Patrick's Day and they fill the booths, they make thousands of money. But they give it right back to the community too. So, getting back to the ROTC guys at not Ruth there, but the Academy.
Mm-hmm.
You should almost expand it.
When I was a kid, every high school had an ROTC program.
Well, this was after a period of years. This replaced the ROTC program, right? Mm-hmm. And like the one caller, her daughter, I think, signed up for the National Guard while still in high school, and you had to make a pretty lengthy commitment. Mm-hmm. But the financial rewards were there to go to college, get your master's degree. I don't know. Do they still have the GI Bill where you can come back?
Today, they have the post 9/11 GI Bills. When I was in, they just paid for college. Now they pay for college and give you money for
just turning it a little bit. Go ahead.
For cost of living. I mean, and then
really?
we have the state of Wisconsin GI Bill. So if you're a Wisconsin resident, you can go to any state-funded college or tech college tuition free.
No
and if
kidding.
you've lived here for, I think, 5 years, you can use it. And if you're 30% or more disabled, your kids and your wife can go to college for free in any state-funded school.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a pretty sweet benefit. But, geez, that's a great. For someone, college is not for everybody. Like a Parkside or
no, but a tech college.
A tech college is. But if you don't know exactly what you want to do, and I don't know, Pete, you're the one that graduated.
10 years ago now.
Yeah. How many kids do you think really know what they want to do the day they graduate?
I was thinking about that the other night, thinking about the 10-year thing. I don't know that anybody
really
knows specifically what they want to do when they're 18 years old.
Oh, I didn't
There's
have
no
a
way
clue
you could
until
know.
I was 25 when I was at West Point.
You haven't experienced enough of life yet to even have an idea.
I'm 65 and I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah, we know. Well, some people aren't as slow a learner as you.
I need a little lead time, some my life's experiences. But, I often thought that had we not been at war, a military for 6 months isn't a bad thing. Mm-hmm. It teaches you discipline and gets you something faced in some kind of direction of where you want to go. I mean, you signed up to go and but again, you get to 25, but you decide to stay in, right?
I did 13. I unfortunately failed the commissioning physical in 2000, and they sent me home. And, I don't have any regrets, except maybe being electronics instead of infantry. But, it's not for everyone. But I could tell you that my success is based on it took what I was and made it better and gave me the ability to be more successful and push myself farther.
Well, a lot of great corporate CEOs and business management all had good military careers, and it taught them that mental discipline and how to manage people. Mm-hmm. It's one thing to manage a workforce of, we'll say, 50 people or 100, but trying to manage 120 in combat, well, that's a different animal.
Corporate 500 companies are actually stealing our officers, West Point graduates, as soon as they'll pay them large sums of money to leave as soon as their obligated time is up to go run companies.
We're talking to Carl Borger here, and we're looking for somebody to give us a call, give us a name for those currently serving in our military, retired, who paid the ultimate sacrifice so we can continue to live as free people. 262-694-1050. I better read a couple sponsors before I forget this, too. Academy at Lakeside. Where's it, Lakeside?
Harborside?
Harborside. You would think that if they have 100 members now in a waiting list, that would be a great way to expand it for another 100. What's the difference? It gives them discipline. They all wear uniforms, and this is what, I guess, in my view, maybe the educational system needs.
Mm-hmm. I personally think it needs a lot more discipline. I remember my teachers hitting me with rulers, but that's because I didn't want to pay attention and listen.
Scott, any memories along those lines?
I have a photogenic memory, and sometimes I forget. I never was hit. I was talked to sternly, but I wasn't really a screw-up or a cut-up in those days. So.
They gave you up the ruler and took the 2x4, and that was the next thing in line.
No, but seriously, it's an elective, and I would think that they could expand that, because not everybody is going to go to a 4-year college university, and not everybody needs 3 languages, and not everybody needs algebra, and but the academy here is. They do a lot of things. They go out and serve in the community. And
a lot of public service. They helped us put flags on all the tombstones that the our post of the American Legion takes care of every year. They do interviews with veterans, and then they present the veteran a DVD. I know I didn't want to watch mine until my son found it on YouTube, and we watched it together.
You're what?
I let them interview me one year.
Oh, okay.
And then I had the DVD, but I didn't want to watch it. And my
Why?
son likes watching YouTube videos and came across it, so we
wait till he
watched it
sees
together.
this.
Maybe when he's older.
yeah. When he's giving up the military. And he's
Not good for young minds, yeah.
Hey, who's that silver fox?
Yeah, see, now after I read his commercial, he goes off. Give us a call, 262-694-1050. Hey, if you're in the military and you got a favorite story, we could entertain some of that, too.
Yeah.
You know,
As long as it's radio friendly.
Yeah, everybody's got a story that is amusing. If you haven't been if you've been in the military.
I'll say my favorite memory of my worst drill instructor, Sergeant Warren, was after I got out of boot camp and I ordered a Domino's pizza and he showed up in a Domino's uniform. I had some fun.
You know, one of the greatest movies I thought was Stripes with Bill Murray, and man, that was my drill sergeant, Sergeant Holko. That they all looked like, and those guys, they weren't very bright, and they did get no, they were not. That's why they were drill sergeants. All they were mean and nasty, and they'd been there. And your thoughts on who actually ran combat units? Well, it sure wasn't the officers, at least not in the Vietnam area. Those guys were the dumbest as rocks. And the guys that actually...
Good. Tell us what you think there, Scotty.
Well, they came out of...
Well, there's some truth in Vietnam. It was like the military were those who could not find ways to not go.
Yeah.
They couldn't get student deferments or run away to Canada or...
You know, in my years with the reserves, we were coming back from Camp McCoy, and one of these first lieutenants was leading the convoy coming down the interstate system. But instead, he couldn't read a map. Instead of turning east to Milwaukee, he keeps going down I-90 to Janesville. So now, you know, we only have enough gas to get us back, barely. We have to stop at Portage to load up one of those jerry cans. So we barely got enough gas, and most of the trucks ran out of gas because we had to come through 14 and ran out of gas in Lake Geneva. So here I'm stuck in Lake Geneva for a Sunday afternoon. We got out and told our friends to come get us, and the truck stayed there. But my point is, some of these guys were not real smart, and anybody will tell you that if you were in combat, you wanted the sergeants, the E5s and the staff sergeants, the E6s. Those are the guys that you want, you know, covering your back, not some first lieutenant that, you know, is closing his eyes and whatever.
And today, now the technology has taken over that the military is so smart that you have kids who cannot get in the military because they can't get a score high enough.
Well, that's, yeah. You know, like I said, back
computers are in every Humvee, you know, batteries are running everything.
They can put a shell down a chimney right now. Before, as a forward observer, I mean, they'd get out and they'd be 100 yards up and 100 yards, you know, okay, and it'd take them about 6 rounds, then you fire for effect and hope that, you know, you could hit it. And talking about, this is one of my experiences up at Camp McCoy. One of these officers was directing the fire control and had the azimuth backwards and landed around in the parade ground instead of out on the on the what do you call it, where the landing ground is there?
Impact area.
Impact area. Yeah, he landed it right in the. How do you explain that to your colonel? Whoops.
It'd be fun to watch him explain it, though.
Yes. So
we need a new second lieutenant. Yeah.
Give us a call, 262-694-1050, and we're talking to Carl. And getting back to I like the academy here. I hope that they sincerely increase that. It's better. I mean, I've seen these kids, all short hair and spit and polish, and they have to wear the uniform one time a week, right?
Yes.
Oh, geez, what's wrong with letting them wear it a little bit more? There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Seems like our education system is kind of failing. I mean, but this is a good opportunity, in my view. This is why we play disclaimers, because, you know, my view is not necessarily the gospel, although from Saturdays from 10 to 10, or 10 to 2. You
don't even know when you're on there. Yeah. Father Barter, yeah.
But we were talking about Memorial Day, and there's a host of, why don't you tell us when your organization, American Legion Post, is having your ceremony?
We will be having our ceremony at 10 a.m. at the cemetery, promptly at 10, and then After that, we will
Greenridge Cemetery.
Yes.
Okay.
And then right after that, the KVV will be doing their thing at Library Square Park. So we kind of move over a little bit.
What's the KVV?
Kenosha Area Vietnam Veterans.
Okay. So that starts at noon, and yours is at 10.
Yep.
And you got any speakers coming for yours deal, or is just what do you do?
Normally it's Tom Vizentana, our post commander.
Okay.
We get some local politicians that will come out, and Herschel will do a reading, and then it's a it's a scripted event basically.
Okay, well that's fine.
For Veterans Day, we let people come out and talk. It's a different purpose.
And that'll be yours is on Monday, so hopefully the rain will hold off. And the Navy Club 40, they have a nice ceremony down there right across on all those monuments. Right across from City Hall there.
It'd be nice if like the Kenoshans could show up for one of them and just take 1 hour on Memorial Day to say thank you.
Well, you'd almost wonder if you have too many, wouldn't it be better to maybe consolidate them all into, well, you can have the one out there at Pleasant Prairie and some, but maybe, does the VFW have one?
The VFW, their parade is tomorrow from 60th Avenue down what is now Veterans Way, which is also 39th Avenue, to the VFW post.
Oh, okay, all right. So if you have a chance to go visit one of those guys, and also the Wounded Warriors benefit coming up Friday, June 5th at Bristol Oaks. There's a number here you can call, 262-694-9523. That's a shotgun start. I don't know how much this is. I'm going to say it's at least $100, but I might be off on that. But that starts registration at 10, shotgun at 11, buffet dinner at 5 p.m. Call Gary Lodyssey at 262-694-9523 and hook up with those guys, because that'd be a great fun to participate in that.
And then today and tomorrow, if anyone is hungry or thirsty, if they want to stop by our American Legion post for our beer bust and help with our fundraiser, so we could send kids to Badger Boys and Badger Girls, and we'd greatly appreciate it.
What do you think, Pete? Beer and food seems to be the operative word.
I've never had either, so I wouldn't know.
And we have bands.
Oh, yeah? What band you got?
I don't have a band. We have bands at the hall.
Oh, I thought, no, I meant. Do you know who's playing tonight?
I do not.
Oh, okay. Well, our band, Billy Goat and the Four Milkers, we could fill in. we got about 6 trolley songs.
I actually have one of your songs here ready to go. Cute, yeah. This was the audience afterwards, maybe.
I don't hear any crickets. Oh, wolves. Good enough.
This topped the charts. I can't even believe it.
Boy, when we have to stoop that low. That's it?
Well, you wanted more?
No, that's just... No, I get your drift.
Sure.
No, I get it. Okay.
That was the punchline. You were hoping for more? Okay.
No, okay. Let me read a commercial. Good morning, everybody. If you just arrived on the trolley, this is the Kenosha Today Weekly Report coming to you live here on WLIP AM 1050. Brought to you by the Boat House Pub and Eatery, Casey Family Options, and a host of many other very fine local businesses. I'm Uncle Scotty Barter, along with Carl Borger, who is filling in for little Stevie Casey, who was away this morning attending a family function. Also with us, our video coordinator, Stormtrooper Captain Ron. And the ever-lovable Pistol Pete Surgeon joins us for our final 30 minutes of this morning's Kenosha Today tribute to all our veterans, both past, present, to those who have been true heroes of their country. As we head down the home stretch, give us a call, 262-694-1050. Carl, you have another event coming up with the traveling Vietnam Wall?
Yep, the traveling, moving Vietnam Wall will be returning to Racine almost 10 years today since it was here last time. August 27th through 31st in Pritchard Park. And I invite anyone to come out wants to learn about Vietnam. And
how come they get it and not us?
We had it in Pleasant Prairie.
Oh, okay.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, huh? Where does that goes all over the country?
Yes.
And is there expense fee to get in?
There is no fee to get in,
okay.
but it costs a considerable amount of money to bring the wall here.
Yeah.
And I know they're still raising funds trying to cover those costs.
Is that the Army that does that, or is that
no? It's
a separate organization.
The Vietnam Veterans Chapter in Racine is leading it up. Pat Adams, you can find him on Facebook. And I know for Pleasant Prairie it was $10,000 just to bring the wall here, not counting other costs.
Well, as Pete and I know our municipalities and villages and towns blow more than $10,000 on various things. So I guess that's $10,000. The way we look at it, it's $10,000 well spent. I mean, they're talking about spending what $300,000 to repair a lousy roof on a beach house that's 80, 100 years old. So.
Yeah, I said we could just do that for $30.
Yeah,
just get up there and spray. That's all.
Yeah, here, see?
Up there right now, patching that baby up.
I just got a new sprayer too.
That's very nice. Oh, the flow is awesome up here. Thank you, Ronnie.
See, Carl, when things slow down a little bit, we resort to our old pattern of behavior here. I just can't understand.
Oh, we got one more spot. There we go. Okay.
We're very thorough. We got criticized for using a cheap $29.99 can of spray paint on that thing.
Yeah, well, that's the last time I order my foam from overnight television. That's for sure.
Well, boy.
It looks so easy too, but only the good stuff from now on. Oh.
Boy, that could buy a lot of things. Well, no. trying to honor our.
Where are you taking us, Scotty? Come on.
I'm not sure where we're going. The History Center, I'm surprised that they haven't devoted a wing, or not a wing, but a exhibit to this long time ago, other than just now, but better late than never. I hope they keep it up.
I hope they do as well.
And with Woody down there standing guard, or what is he? Is he in uniform or?
I have no idea. I know he'll be wearing his American Legion hat. Other than that, how he's dressed, I don't know. Hopefully he will be.
Well, he
ring the bell. Yeah. Oh,
sorry, Tom.
There you go.
Woody's a finely tuned military person.
Yes. Two tours in Afghanistan.
Yeah. Well, I got to applaud him for that.
He was on your show a couple
That's
times.
right. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to. that was before he was leaving.
Yeah, he was leaving.
I'm going to say 3 years ago, maybe?
No, not even that long.
Wasn't it? 2 years?
Yeah, and then he was going to head over.
And this
he's back now.
This year was the Safety Person of the Year.
Safety Person?
Yep.
How does...
Because he was also a volunteer firefighter for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, I see. He's not anymore, right?
Not anymore.
Yeah, him and Carl. I remember they were the Summers Fire guys. Those two included were going to take that run up the stairs. What was that bank building in Milwaukee?
Oh, I know what you mean.
That
event,
contest where U.S. Bank, which was up about 15, 20 stories.
How many steps is that?
Oh, I don't know. I was told there was going to be a lot of math problems. But anyway, these two guys were all well over, I'll just use 300 as a round number. Each.
I'm well on my way. What am I going to
And they were going to, the thing was, it was all firefighters, I think, and had to put their pack in their oxygen. And these guys look winded just getting out of the truck. But I applaud them. They're great guys. And so who gave him the award? Himself or
no?
That's how we get awards, right, Pete? I employee of the month.
I pat myself on the back all the time.
I think it was Case or I don't know for sure. I have to go on Facebook, check out the picture. He had his little plaque on there.
Oh, well, good for him. And so.
Well,
good night, everybody.
Well, I'll say if those who go to the Vietnam Wall, I invite them to go in the green tent and see our display, and hopefully.
Carl's got 38,000 artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
What's the most unusual?
Most unusual? I could tell you. I like finding things. I found paratrooper uniforms at Value Village. I found Civil War swords at Wilmot. For me, it's about discovering lost history and bringing it back.
Civil War
sword. Yeah, it's a $10,000 Thomas and Griswold sword. I paid $50 for it at Value
how come they didn't have it?
They
didn't know what they had.
They thought it was a Japanese pre-World War II sword, and the price kept coming down. I looked at it and said, "Well, it's not Japanese. It's probably military. For $50, I'll take the chance." So,
well, that worked out well.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Do you get can you get a letter of authenticity for some of this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I remember this would have been at least 8 to 10 years ago when we were raising money for the historical building and the lighthouse. And I'll get back to that story. Should I take this, Pete?
Mm-hmm.
Good morning on Kenosha Today.
Good morning, Scott.
I can't hear you.
I said, good morning, Scott. How are you?
Who's this?
I think it's Woody.
Woody, I still can't hear you.
Are you dressed, Woody?
Yeah.
Did I what?
Why don't you hang up and call again? I can't hear you.
All right, I'll call you right back.
All right. Does he forget he's got to push one of those knobs on his cell phone?
I don't know. I could hear him. You really couldn't hear
I
him?
could hear him fine.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's just you who screwed up.
The silver fox.
You can hear him all?
Yeah.
Yeah?
All right, Woody, call me back.
His
Loud
ears
and
must be
clear.
ringing.
Oh, jeez.
Got to get the old ears cleaned for the springtime.
Okay, Woody, can you hear me now?
Here, try it now.
Woody, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Is that any better?
I can hear him.
We'll just have to. We'll
Okay.
just have to translate for Scott.
I can't hear this. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
Skylar, you already hit the boathouse?
It's a Saturday morning.
Hey, you have an excellent show today and a really great guest down there. You guys are doing great.
Oh, here I thought he was calling to fire me.
Hey, I heard you
You
once.
ain't that lucky.
I heard you won some fancy award. Who gave that to you? Your wife?
The Shriners.
The Shriners.
The Shriners, they nominated me. It was a very nice honor. They nominated me as their safety person of the year.
So what do you have to do there?
I just showed up and had a nice dinner at the Bartley House, and it was really a great time.
Well, if you get over to the Boathouse Conference this afternoon, I'll buy you a beverage.
Well, same to you. If you come down to the American Legion Post 21 for our beer bust, I'll buy you some beer.
Pete?
Free beer. Free beer.
Oh, is it free?
I believe it's $6.
But Tom said he'll pay for
all
it.
draft beer you can drink.
That's a dangerous thing you just told Scott over there. His face got up bright. He's like, wow.
I was ready to put the headphones down and sure I get there on time.
If he likes draft beer, I've got a whole bunch of it for him.
It was going to be the Pete and Ronnie show for the last 20 minutes.
Beer makes me burp.
No.
Hey, but what was that thing that you and Carl got into? I was trying to explain when you went up to the bank building and ran up the stairs.
Oh, the stair climb in March.
Yeah.
Every March they do that for the American Lung Association.
You still do that?
Twice.
You did it?
I didn't do it this past year, but I have done it in the past.
How many steps are there, Pete asked?
It's 1,000.
Ooh.
It's 47 stories.
47, so 1,000. Did you have to wear your gear?
I opted to do it in shorts and a T-shirt, and Big Carl did it in his fire gear.
Well, you know why he did that? He took his own oxygen tank. Come on, you're not fooling me.
I got to throw that disclaimer out there in case any Summers guys are listening. Carl did not climb the stairs.
He was winded when he got out of the truck.
He was our mascot at the bottom waiting.
Yeah. With a net. Here, would he jump here?
But no, hey, Scott, great show, and I appreciate all you do for the veterans, and it's really great that we're all out there doing our things. And today the VFW riders gave Mrs. Van Bendigan a ride in a sidecar.
She's thrilled at that, huh?
Center. So it was really nice. She got a ride on a bike.
What was your event pretty well attended this
Yeah,
morning?
there was a pretty good crowd there. It was very good crowd.
And the History Center is open till when today? Is it open tomorrow too?
I don't know. I didn't check the hours. I apologize.
Well, you should. You're supposed to be up. We're going to take your award away. You know.
I actually just got back over to the Legion now. I'm getting ready to start setting up things here.
Oh, okay. Hey, who's? I asked Carl who the music is.
Tonight we're going to have Speed Rail, a very good local band. It's a lot of our Post members belong to it.
Okay.
And tomorrow night is a band called Mean Gene.
Well,
they're another good local band.
If they
They'll be
don't
here
show
tomorrow
up,
night.
Woody, if they don't show up, our band here, Billy Goat and the Four Milkers, we have a host of trolley songs that we can sing.
All right, we'll call you and get you down here if we need
Yeah,
you.
I'm
So
sure
be
you will.
ready.
Yeah.
I like their version of Sounds of Silence.
The Sound of Silence. All right, Woody.
It's just dead air. Yeah, that's all it is.
Keep up the good work. I got to take another call.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right. Good morning on Kenosha Today.
Hi, Scott. Mike Bjorn.
Yes, sir.
I got a kind of a sad, happy one.
Okay.
When I was stationed in Germany, 1968 to 69, Christmas time in 68, I got a letter from my friend Dennis Groff. And it was a 12-page letter. He wrote to me. He was in Vietnam. He was a medic. And the letter was so touching as far as what he was learning about medicine. And he wanted to become a doctor. And with his grades, he probably could have been the guy who would have discovered a cure for cancer. But anyhow, sadly, 2 months later, I got a phone call while I was in Germany that Dennis had been killed. One of those things where he jumped on the grenade to save other people as well. So, that stuff really, really does happen. And once again, his name was Dennis Groff, and just a great guy. And I was an Army secret weapon, and the thing is, he could have been as well. He was a baritone player, and he could have got into an Army band anywhere, but he really felt being a medic would teach him so much more about surgery and medicine.
Well, you learned it pretty quick on the job training.
Oh, yeah, and that's why he wrote me that 12-page letter, which thank God I saved and gave to his parents. But he thought the war was not a good thing, but his helping the Vietnamese people, that was a good thing. So in other words, he felt we probably shouldn't have been there, as most of us figured out a long time ago. But he helped a lot of good people. And by the way, I have to congratulate you how busy you're going to be tomorrow. I don't know how you do it, because I understand you're renting a bus again to go to the concert at the Women's Club. Not concert, the movie. They're showing The Magnificent Ambersons at 2 o'clock. And I just don't know how you can do it.
Do you want us to pick you up? Pete's driving.
No, I can meet the bus and everything. I'll meet you guys and everything. But I just think it's very nice, as usual, you're trying to help the community.
Hey, I got a question for you. You mentioned a secret weapon. How does a drummer in a band become a secret weapon? Is this something you sign up for, or?
Well, I was my nomenclature. I was an O2M20 as far as my job title. Somebody had to do it. And the wild, interesting thing is, I can't tell you how big the Army is on ceremony. They want retirement ceremonies. They want change of command ceremonies. It just, there's 3 questions they ask you when you come into basic. Number 1, can you speak a foreign language? That makes sense. Number 2, can you type? That makes sense. And of all questions, number 3, can you play a musical instrument? And I find that fascinating. Those are the big 3 as far as what they're looking for.
When I retired, there was no ceremony. It was get the hell out. I think that was the final word the general said to me.
It depends on your rank in term of service, how long you've been doing it. But literally, I didn't go to my college graduation at Parkside because I had played hundreds, if not thousands, of graduation, retirement, what have you, change of command ceremonies. And I was kind of ceremonied out, if you know what I mean. But I know how much worse it could have been, so I was one of the lucky ones. But I'll tell you, every day for 3 years, I thought, okay, when are my orders coming for NAM? And luckily, I lucked out, and they shipped me to Europe. So one of those things. Hey, see you later.
Maybe at the conference at 2 o'clock.
I'll see you tomorrow at the movie, man.
Okay. Thanks. When Bjorn calls anymore, don't take his call. Here's his number. Let me read another sponsor. On Memorial Day, if you have a name that you want to recognize, we've had quite a few of them call in today, and I think that's great. It's a way we can honor our the people who are currently involved, and some of these young people that I think it was the grandmother said her grandson is still serving, and the daughter signed up in high school and went into the National Guard. So he got some of those touching stories. The movie, not the movie, but the TV. Well, the first of the movie, MASH, and MASH then went on TV with Alan Alda and those guys. Was on 9 years, and basically it was a spoof on Vietnam, and not necessarily
in Korea.
Yeah, and MASH lasted 9 years, and the war only lasted 4.5. So, but I thought that was a great, the military, a great spoof on the military, and how things just weren't the way they should have been, and like Mike just said about the guy going to be a medic, and that's on the job training. You want to learn medicine, boy, you go in a war zone, and you'll learn pretty quick how to figure it out, right?
Absolutely.
So when you retired, do you get benefits? You're going to go? Oh, you got your degree and everything already, right?
Yes, I have sadly 5 of them. Working on 6.
5 degrees.
I got degrees in marine biology, criminal justice, history, military history, and I'm working on a certification in museum studies.
Oh, so you could be
I'm still confused.
Welcome to my world. But the thing on the swords that you found, would the value? Now you don't want to resell these, do you?
No,
or not this time.
No, but when I'm deceased, all bets are off, and my wife's going to have one heck of an auction.
When
the money.
I started to talk about the authenticity, and when we had the raising money for the lighthouse restoration.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1866, when that lighthouse was made or built, Abraham Lincoln was president, and there was 38 states. So we went to a place in Burlington, had a 38-star flag, specially made, and I sent it down to the Lincoln's tomb down there. I think it's in Springfield. And this gal flew it on President's Day and his birthday and gave me a letter of authenticity, because here you got a letter, or I mean, this flag was up there. And so we took it down and tried to give it to the historical, or the history center, to put into this 1866 lighthouse, and they wouldn't take it. So then I gave it to the Civil War Museum, and they found a nice place for it. You know, it's kind of unique, 38 stars, 1866, but I don't know. Sometimes it just in the what you call it museum over there, Civil War Museum, still baffles me how we haven't had a battle in the Civil War within 1,000 miles of here, and we ended up with a Civil War Museum. I often thought that you could have taken the Dinosaur Museum and all that rich marble in that building across from the courthouse and made it to a Veterans Museum. I thought that would have been a perfect place to honor all the different veterans that we had in Kenosha County. Yes, I like dinosaurs, but...
You know why we have a dinosaur museum?
No, tell me.
Carthage needed a place to deposit in public trust their dinosaur bones that they recover from government lands.
Well, I figured
they couldn't keep them at Carthage.
I figured it was something smart like that. As opposed to putting them up and, you know, building a tarbacle or whatever it is over there and putting them in the gym or something. But I thought that building, because that was built in the early 1900s with all that marble and all of that, would be a great place for a veterans museum versus, you can keep the Civil War Museum, but all the veterans that we have that have been in Kenosha County that fought in all the wars, I thought that would be a great place for it. I mean, I've been in the Dinosaur Museum, and
are you worried that they want to make you an exhibit?
Oh! Carl, look at the time. I think
way downtown. Bang.
I was wondering why that guy was measuring me up. I was going to give me a new outfit.
Nah, the oldest bones in the building.
Yes. Way to go, Carl. You don't have to do something to encourage these boys. Anyway, we got just a couple minutes left, and if you have a person that you want to recognize or honor, give us a call, 262-694-1050. We're talking about military personnel and the history that we have in Kenosha. You know, to be buried at Arlington, do you know what the right? Well, you have to be in the military, right?
Well, Arlington's running out of space, so you have to be in the military, and there has to be special circumstances, just like Wood Cemetery is also now full as a national cemetery.
But that's out in Union Grove?
The Wood Cemetery is the one in Milwaukee. It's a national cemetery. Union Grove is actually a state cemetery.
Oh.
But any veteran has the right to a free burial location and tombstone at Union Grove.
Wasn't the issue when Bobby Kennedy was assassinated, and they put him in Arlington, but he was never in the military?
No.
And that was an issue to some, and should he have been there? I don't know. I'm not going to debate that now, but his remains are there, very small. Looks just like a little plaque with his name, Kennedy, and there's nothing to it. So, but it's right on the other side of where his brother is buried.
Well, I mean, John Kennedy. I mean, he was a PT boat commander. He actually, after his boat was sunk, swam in the open ocean to get help for his men. I mean, he did some amazing things in his own military service that people don't realize.
I don't want to talk politics, but a lot of presidents have, or seem to think they had to be in the military to be a president. Now, Bill Clinton, he was never in the military. No, he
was not.
Wasn't it George, the old man Bush? He was a fighter pilot, right?
Naval aviator.
And his other kid was in the National Guard, or
his son was in naval aviator in the reserve.
In the reserves, and there was some question.
And
there was some question as to whether he actually he uncovered some of his records and some things that weren't, off a typewriter or a computer that weren't invented for 10 years after the fact. But and now Barack Obama was never in the military.
No.
So I guess all of that thinking is gone. We got another call, Pete. Good morning. You're on Kenosha Today.
Yeah. Good morning. You were talking earlier about museums and why Civil War.
Sure.
Civil War might be recognized here in this part of Wisconsin. Wasn't it a while back there was some story about how both the Union and Confederate armies were supplied by lead that was manufactured from southern Wisconsin through like Ulysses S. Grant?
I don't know. Do you know if that's true? I don't know that. But if you know, something enlighten us.
No, that's what I'm just saying.
Well,
I mean, I think historically
there were a lot of supplies that came out of the upper Midwest and to supply the Civil War. Plus, we had the first Wisconsin, the second Wisconsin, the 90-day troops. So we had a very active role in the Civil War, just not necessarily a battlefield here.
Oh, okay. Oh. Is he still there? No. Oh, what happened?
Hung up.
Oh, he hung up?
Yep.
Oh. Well,